So guys, July was my 4th month of selling products on Walmart through Walmart WFS, and in this video, I'm gonna give you a full update and show you what's been happening in my store. We'll go over all of my sales, we'll break down how much I made in profits, we'll take a look at the margins, and we'll go over my return on invested capital for the full month. Now, if you've been following along with this video series over the past few months, you should already be familiar with Walmart WFS and how it all works. I know there's actually quite a handful of you guys out there who have started stores for yourselves, which is awesome. But in case you have no idea what I'm talking about or what this Walmart stuff is, the idea is pretty simple. Basically, I'm purchasing different products to use as inventory, sending them into Walmart, and then I'm selling those products on Walmart's website. And this is all part of Walmart WFS, which stands for Walmart Fulfillment Services. In a nutshell, through Walmart WFS, Walmart will store the products you send into their warehouses, list them for sale on their website, and then they'll take care of the entire fulfillment process, from packaging to shipping and everything in between when a customer places an order. Now, the big question around all of this is, okay, well, how do you know which products to sell? And, where do you even buy these products? How does this all even work? And that's the cool thing about how I've been operating the store. I've been working with a company called Limits Express Company that's managing the entire thing for me. They're actually the sponsor of today's video, and thanks to them, I don't have to lift a finger to run this store. It is completely hands-off and it is completely passive. Limits Express handles everything from sourcing the inventory through their supplier network to having that inventory shipped to their own warehouse, repackaging it with your store's information, and then sending that inventory into Walmart, where Walmart then handles the rest. Now, the cool thing about working with a company like this is because they have multiple clients and they're placing such large orders in bulk, they're able to negotiate top-tier pricing on all this inventory, which means better margins when you sell it on Walmart, and ultimately a higher return on your invested capital. Now, I didn't really know a whole lot about this stuff before I started working with Limits Express, but that was one of the things that made me want to start working with them. It was their transparency. They really go out of their way to put all of this out in the open. Just like how I document my dividend investing journey here on YouTube, they're documenting their entire Walmart business over on their channel. They make educational content about how Walmart WFS works, and they post regular updates showing how their clients are doing, which is really cool to see. So like I said, they are very transparent, and their incentives are aligned with yours. They only make money when you make money, so they are highly motivated to generate good results. And I've got to say, I've only had really good results working with them so far. With all of that said, if you're interested in learning more about generating passive income through Walmart WFS, just click the link in the description of the video or in the pinned comment, or just scan this QR code right here to book a free 30-minute Zoom call with Kyle, one of the co-founders of Limits Express. If any of this sounds interesting to you, I genuinely think the best way to go about it is just by outsourcing it to the pros, the people who live and breathe this stuff every day. So definitely set up a call and start building another passive income stream with Limits Express Company. Anyway, guys, getting into the good stuff, the only product that I sold in July was this one right here. It's this Roku Smart Soundbar. And you probably remember me talking about this a few weeks ago because I did put out a little video showing the results so far from July, but that was really only about a couple weeks worth of sales. Taking a look at my Walmart Seller Center, my first day of sales actually didn't come till almost halfway through the month. My first day of sales was on July 12th, and it was a great way to kick things off. This was actually my highest day of sales ever since I started doing this Walmart WFS stuff. Basically $600 in one day. And once again, I didn't have to lift a finger for this, completely passive, completely hands-off. And I think the video I put out a few weeks ago really only went up to about July 21st, maybe July 22nd, but we still had, about 9-10 days left in the month. And the remainder of July, as we can see, was pretty solid. There were only 2 days, July 23rd and July 29th, where I didn't generate any sales, but otherwise we averaged about 1 to 3 sales per day, I would say. And we closed out the month on a very strong note. The last day in July, we generated about $472 in revenue. So all in all, throughout the month, the GMV, which stands for gross merchandise value, came out to $3,578.70. And in total for the month, we had 32 different orders and we sold 30 units. The reason there is a discrepancy here is because if we scroll down, taking a look at the orders and the units sold, we can see there were a couple instances here where we saw either canceled orders or refunds on orders that were purchased, which unfortunately just comes with the territory. But thankfully, it really doesn't happen all too too often, and by and large, you're still generating quite a solid profit, even despite the refunds. Now, getting into the profits and the margins and the returns on invested capital, looking at a breakdown of everything here. Once again, the sales were $3,578 for the month. The cost of goods sold just for the units that were purchased, those 30 units, comes out to $2,070 because, as we can see over here on my buying sheet, the price per unit was $69. So take that $69, multiply that by the 30 units that were sold in July, and that's how you get the $2,070 right there. But in addition to that, we also had $316.50 of Walmart WFS fees, which makes sense for Walmart to charge their fees to handle all of the fulfillment process and any issues for you. I think it's definitely worth paying that. And also the shipping per unit was $3.30, so multiply that by 30 units. The shipping cost just on the units sold was $99, which when you put all of this together, that brings us to a profit of $1,093.20. Not too bad, guys. And getting into the margin, so if we take that $1,093 in profit and divide that into the $3,578 in sales, that's going to leave us with a 30.55% net profit margin. That is a very strong bottom line. And then looking at the returns on invested capital, taking that same $1,093 in profit and dividing that into 3,174, and this number is the total dollars invested to buy all units of this particular product. So I started out with 46 units in my store at an average cost of $69 per unit. That's going to bring us to this number right here. So taking the profits for the month and dividing it into the total dollars invested, that's going to result in a 34.44% return on invested capital, which I think is great considering I still had about a third of my inventory going into the month of August, and I'm still generating sales on this product here this month. So this 34% doesn't even include the rest of my inventory. I think that's a really strong return. And if we just look at the returns on the units sold, taking that same $1,093 in profit, dividing it into the cost of goods sold for the month, which was that $2,070 number, the return on invested capital just on the 30 units sold in July comes out to 52.81%. That is incredible. So I'm pretty happy with the results that we saw in July, and so far in August, things have been great as well. Looking at the sales so far, my GMV just for the first 10 days in August comes out to about $1,300. So the sales have been pretty solid. And once again, all of these sales are still coming from that one product, that Roku soundbar, and I actually have 46 more units headed into Walmart right now. I think right now they're in the midst of being shipped to the Limits Express warehouse, but they should get there pretty soon, and then it won't be too long before they turn them over to Walmart. So I think I'll start generating sales on all this new inventory, all these new sound bars, probably by the end of the month. And in the meantime, I have this other product right here, which is this TP-Link Smart Wi-Fi router. This actually just hit my store today. And with this, I have 112 units in my store. Each unit was bought for $20. We can see the going price right now is about $36 according to the spreadsheet. So the markup there is pretty nice. And since it went live today, like right before I started recording this, I should see some sales coming in, I mean, really anytime. But anyway, guys, that's what's been happening in my Walmart store lately. And if you want to see how some of my other products have been selling, then check out this next video right over here. These are my sales and profits from April and May, which were my first 2 full months of having the store, and the results were off the hook. So click right over here to check those out, and I'll see you in the next one.